everyone, I am Mihir Vatsa and I am the author of Tales of Hazaribagh, an intimate exploration of Chhatanagpur Plateau, published by Speaking Tiger. Today I am going to read an excerpt from the book, and it is taken from chapter 7, which is called Territorial Trespassing. I want to say some things about rivers. 8 kilometers west of Hazaribagh is a small reservoir called Chadwa Dam. It was constructed by the DVC to supply water to the town. Unlike dams that are built on discernible rivers on land, Chadwa Dam's purpose was to harness an underground water system supported by the monsoon and the flow of the Muhane River nearby. A depression in the land along the north-south axis occurs at the site. Here, a slim stream would appear in the monsoon, disappearing again into the ground with the departure of the rains. After a part of this depression was deepened and the barrier put in place, the reservoir began to show. Besides supporting the town round the year, the water also supports migratory birds in the winter. Keen bird watchers from the town flock to the reservoir with their long cameras. Opposite the dam, old rocks that once lay in the path of the thin river still stand. This miniature valley cultivates its water underneath the ground, and when the plateau begins its northward slope, the water makes its land spring near the village of Babura. Here, our first river, the Sivane, emerges. The Sivane skirts along the low Babura hill, changing its direction from north to the east. At Bonga, it passes under the NH33, the road to Hazaribagh from Konar, one that I've taken countless times when riding the train back home. Now that Hazaribagh town is expanding, it appears that the Sivane at Bonga will soon define its northern boundary. The river, eastward still, but leaning south, flows behind the eastern towns of Meru and Daru. At Daru, it draws an arc in a sal forest and turns completely south. Betraying its initial direction, the Sivane meets the NH100, the road from Hazaribagh to Bagodar. It was here that a Shakespearean arch bridge was built in 1874 for the convenience of Sir George Campbell, the then Lieutenant Governor of Bengal. Campbell was fond of Hazaribagh. It was a town he admired, in some respects even more than Darjeeling. I have walked on and with the Sivane below this bridge, alone and with friends. The river is stunning between November and March, its flow disjointed by rocks. Gurgling streams of water crash and flow into each other. Not too far from this bridge is a village called Murki. Now let us shift our sights about 10 kilometers southwest of Hazaribagh town to Banadag village. A railway siding was recently constructed here to load the coal from operational mines onto the trains. The NH100, which in these parts of the district is called Lepo Road, runs through Banadag. Across the road is a reservoir called Gonda Dam, and behind Banadag is the forest extending all the way down to Barkagaon. From Gonda Dam, a trickle of water starts due east along the outskirts of Hazaribagh town, its chief utility being that of a Shamshan Ghat Nala at Khirgaon. Along the road at Khirgaon is also the Muslim cemetery. Back at Banadag, a handful of streams also meet inside the forest. It is the origin of the Konar, our second river. The Konar begins flowing eastward and cuts the Barkagaon road outside the town near Khapariyama. From Khapariyama, it flows past the Naman Vidya School and meets the Shamshan Ghat Nala at Masigiri. The Konar goes under NH33, the road from Hazaribagh to Ranchi, and flows through the forest behind the agro-tourism center at Demota. After traveling as a narrow channel in the woods, it widens at a village called Lara. A long natural riverfront forms here, and the Konar is dramatic in this stretch. It tumbles down spans of rocks in small steps surrounded by a sal forest. Today, this riverfront has grown popular with Hazaribagh's residents. Boys and girls pose with their bikes, sunglasses, and other accessories. In the new year, picnickers crowd the river, leaving styrofoam utensils everywhere. The waste lifts from winter through summer, as the river also shrinks. When monsoon arrives, the pollutants are washed down with the Konar's overflow. It is a neat system. When the plateau makes its eastward slope, the Konar enters the forest again. At Kevalu, it meets the quieter Jhumra Churchu road. A temple for goddess Chandi is located here, close to the river. In this temple too, like the one at Surajkund, the roof could not be built. In some places around Hazaribagh, it seems that divine beings dislike a roof over their heads. This, according to the priests, is always an Adbhut mystery. From Kevalu, the river courses towards the Daru Churchu road at Mangarpatta. Here the Konar is wide and sandy. The deposits showing a decrease of almost 300 meters in altitude. When the river reaches Murki, the Sivane is waiting for it. At the confluence, Sivane is wider of the two, but it is Konar that gets to keep its name. Sivane, despite its delightful quirks and friendly rocks, despite also being my favorite, disappears into the Konar amid idyllic and heartbreaking surroundings. When the Konar, carrying also the water of the Sivane, leaves Murki, it reaches a bridge. This is the bridge of Beram, which, unlike the arch bridge over Sivane, is a recent construction. Below the bridge, the Konar is pristine. Whenever I come to this bridge, I see in the water a shadow of the Sivane. I gauge the dissolved river's presence and feel betrayed for it. The Konar contributes, ushering at calmness through patches of sand, but the Sivane's rocky presence exists at Beram too. The water collecting into pools and puddles reminds me of my walks along the Sivane near the arch bridge at Daru. The Konar bridge at Beram, however, is also an unfortunate structure, blasted off on one side. Whatever remains of it leans into the water below. Whoever detonated the bridge did so partially, leaving a small path open yet hanging. Tractors creep along the hanging road. My alto too creeps along the hanging road. When I ask people nearby about the bridge, some of them smile. They don't remember the year it was crippled. Don't the officers at the block office say anything about it? Doesn't the MLA? I ask them. I realize I'm always aggravated. They move their faces from side to side as if they no longer care and walk away. The road to Beram passes through Murki, where an interesting hillock stands outside the village. Sal trees rise from this mound. A tidy alley wide enough to accommodate the auto runs through the mousy hill. The path's impeccable integrity restrains me from driving on it. When I come to this place, I come harboring awe. I park the car on the tarmac and walk up to the mound. A loose magic floats in the air. When I look closely at the laterite track, I notice stones placed neatly in straight lines along either side of the path. I notice they are fixed to give the path its borders. A rushing traveler will miss it. A disinterested driver will miss it too. The stone-bordered path is a human intervention to landscape. With no construction tenders and without resorting to concrete, the path is a work of the villagers' labor. No boisterous signboard takes credit for Sundarikaran here. No corporation passes it off as their CSR activity. The villagers merely declare their love for the land. I love you, the lover says, and offers gifts. The lover sings, the lover dances, the lover rides off his love on the sky. The villagers used the stones from the land to gift the place a new charm. They did not give up on it. They used no words to codify their affection. When I drive on the NH100 and cross the turn to Murki, my head turns towards the river, the bridge, the hillock. Oi, what are you looking at? Someone asks. And I say nothing, unsure if my sentiments warrant articulation, unsure if any articulation will resonate.